Hello, hello. Today is October the 27th, 2022. Trading and investing of any kind carries risk. Everything discussed here is for entertainment purposes only and not to be taken as financial advice because I don't give advice. Let's get to it. So, holy moly. What happened today? Well, we had this pattern that set up, a bit of a bearish pattern. So we've had these rallies going on and we had this head and shoulders pattern set up. Well, starting yesterday, we had roughly, I think it was somewhere along the lines of like 15 million shares came in on SPY. And then today we had another 6 or 7 million. I mean, we're talking like, I don't think it was 15. Anyway, roughly we're talking a total of almost 20 million shares sitting up in this range right here. So between like 379.66 and 384.83, I think is kind of where the range sits. So that's a lot of money sitting there. And the fact that we've had such crappy earnings for so many companies, and this is all we got for a pullback on the SPY today. I'm not saying we're not going to get any more of a pullback, but it seems to me that they don't want to pull it back. And by they, I just mean, those who control the market. So, I'm going to trade what I see, but my longer term bias is definitely not on the short side. So, that's one of the first bearish patterns that have come up since we've had this, bit of a push, this second kind of push rally, right? We had one here that kind of took us down. But anyway, so what are we looking at longer term? Well, we've got this pattern that takes us up to 400 to 401. And before I didn't think we would necessarily get there, but now I kind of think we will. Just based upon, thinking through this logically. If we were to draw trend lines, I mean, just everything about it, just look where we stopped. And I could get even more detailed and technical, but I'm not going to go there about, other reasons I feel like we stopped. I mean, I shorted this at the close and I covered my short right here. Just because I saw some signals come in that just kind of told me to do that. So I did. So the interesting thing about this area, which I've mentioned previously, I'm pretty sure, there's this other pattern that, has never really completed that could actually take us up there. And there's other patterns that other people have put together that could take us up there. But here's the wild part. There are even bigger patterns that take us up to like 448 almost. 444, 445 up in that area on the SPY. That's a long way from where we are right now. But I mean, there are signals out there that say we could go there, which is insane to me. But you know what? I've seen lots of insane things. I think it has more to do with the pending elections coming up, so we'll see. So nobody wants a tanking market during an election, right? Especially in a recession and all that. Oh, that's right. We're not in a recession, right? We changed the definition. My bad. This GDP report came out. It wasn't terrible. But I wouldn't be surprised if in the future, somebody happens to come out and say, oh, oops, we got a few things wrong. And then, after all the election cycle stuff is done, because I think it's in the first couple weeks in November, right? So we don't have that long. So that's my assumption, is that, oh, we made a mistake on the GDP report, blah, blah, blah. Market, decides to go down sometime after. So anyway, that's kind of my take on the market situation as it stands right now. So, as far as today goes, there was not a lot of good trading today. And if you traded today, I'm going to assume pretty much, I would assume, unless you just sat in a short all day or, something, you probably got chopped up. it's just one of those days where you just stare at it and you're just like, oh my God, really? I made a handful of trades, but because it was so slow, I just played naked options, calls and puts. I don't normally do that, but I did that because I knew I wouldn't be patient enough to just hold. A couple of trades that I made, I played this push here. I don't even remember why I'd played it. Oh, no, I didn't. I actually shorted at the open. I don't have my stuff up to actually look at my journal to see exactly what I did. I'm pretty sure I shorted at the open. I can't remember anyway. And then I played this, kind of three valleys and a river. I don't know if you don't know what that is. Basically, it's something that kind of looks a bit like this. Basically, a stair step down with a bigger pullback on the last one, and then you tend to get, at the tail end of it, you tend to get a retrace to at least here. So I played that. It was just super slow. Like, look how long it took to work that last. It took almost an hour to move 2 freaking points. It's insane. Oh, what a slow day. Anyway, that's kind of where we just kind of bounced around in here after that, right? And this is, I would assume so many people got chopped up today. And then I saw some signals come in and I decided, closer to the close, I bought puts. I didn't actually short it. I bought puts because I wasn't sure if it was going to go down there today or tomorrow. But when I started hearing the first earnings come in right after, because you can close your puts, up to 15 minutes after the day closes, right? So I did. Once we got further down here, I bought 375 puts, and then I closed them right in somewhere in here, right before we were at 375. We ended up getting there, but I think it was way later because I had to close them within 15 minutes. Yeah, so I closed it right around here at like 375.90, I think is where I closed them. So anyway, did pretty decent on those two. Yeah, on a day like today, this is a bigger picture play. So you have to actually, these are one of those days where you don't necessarily trade. You just have to zoom out and kind of look at what the hell's going on around you. You could have played some of these moves, but just like some of the other days we've had, right, the bigger moves were at the open. And unless you're really just guessing sometimes, you might get lucky. But again, there's people that possibly had got chopped up today. Excuse me. But if you zoom out, you kind of get the picture, right? Which is bearish pattern right there, head and shoulders, just a big one. And it played out. And it, as far as I'm concerned, it could be done. We could pull further. We could actually, we could pull around here to like, the high 360s, maybe the mid 360s. It's entirely possible to get an even deeper pullback, to get a better push. But I don't think that money that came in is a short, because that money kept coming in today as we were moving down. So in my opinion, it was a bunch of dip buying. And like I said, we're looking at like, 18, 19, 20 million shares that are over the last 2 days that have come in. So yeah, that's kind of my opinion on what's going on right now. There's not really much else to say, right? That's the way that I see it, and we'll see where it goes. Again, if my bias doesn't mean I'm going to sit in a long for the next 2 months. And my opinion could change tonight. It could change in the morning. It could change in 15 minutes. So, just make sure to do your own research. Pay attention to what's going on if you're going to trade. Don't be a person that just takes other people's calls. You'll probably lose more than you win. Anyway, like, subscribe, tell people, all that stuff. I like making these videos. I like making them for me, but I keep hearing from other people that they're helpful. So share them, tell other people. And I will try to make another one of these there's going to be a lot of exciting stuff, I think, going on. So I'll try to make another one either tomorrow or maybe over the weekend or something. So have a good night, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. Peace.